Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to feature my great friend Jay Temchack, who is an auctioneer of coins, currency, and precious metal. He was one of the dealers set up at our Minot coin show, and he agreed to do an on-camera interview to tell us about the ins and outs of the coin and collectible market through the auctioneer perspective, tell us a little bit about his business and how he got started, and he's going to give his take on the gold and silver markets as well. It's a great interview. Jay's a great guy, so hope you enjoy it. Please stick around. Hello everyone, we're back here at the Minot Coin Show, and we're excited to interview my good friend and fellow dealer, Jay Temchack from Bismarck, North Dakota. Hi Jay, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Josh.
Go ahead.
It's been a fun little show, as every year is here, always. You never know what conversation comes up next or what item is in people's wishes to buy or whatever. So, and it's always fun to see friends every year with a once-a-year show.
For sure. Yeah, we see a lot of repeat customers from all over the state, so it's always nice to see everybody. You can almost count on running into them here at the Minot Show. So, Jay, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
Well, I started an auction company about 11 years ago. We had, every town has their small local auctioneers, and the good, the bad, and whatever within them all. And I was at a very large currency auction from the late Glenn Jordy. He did strictly an auction of North Dakota banknotes that Lynn Knight had put on. And I was at that, and Jim Fitzgerald was the auctioneer, and the light bulb just went off and said, I can do this. But part of my background was I've been doing cattle auctions all my life. And that's a little bit of my background within agriculture that I'd put together and promoted sales across the US and Canada and Australia with some very large, well-known purebred operations. So I was kind of shifting gears from the cattle industry over to this industry. And at that auction, when that light bulb went off, and a couple months later, I was in auction school, and away we went.
Cool story. I didn't know that, and I've known you for more than a decade. So, if you could tell the people watching, how can they find your auctions, Jay? I know you do in person and online. So, how can they learn about where they can find your auctions and the type of things you have for sale?
Well, I have my basic website is www.temchackauction.com, but then also I like to use what they call a redirect. And I have another website called 701 Auctions. And to just type in 701 Auctions, it clicks you right to where the current auction is up, listed, and posted.
Okay.
So the less clicks, the more apt they are to get to the actual site. And in advertising, we want to get to that site as quick as we can.
That's a good point. And you talked about upcoming auctions. If we can go down here.
Yes.
Looks like here's some that you have upcoming. Today's October 1st. It's the second day of our Minot Coin Show. You can see that at the bottom, but there's looks like, now, will all of these, they have an in-person spot where you can always view the items.
Yes.
And they all have online bidding availability as well, is that correct?
100% online bidding. Part of why I like to do shows is to get out amongst the people, ask questions, and get a lot of feedback. Pro, con, good, bad, ugly. It's always a learning curve. Technology's always changing, but we all make little mistakes too. So I like to hear from the people what they like, what they don't like, and how to improve.
Yeah, well,
streamline the process.
Yeah, it's always important to get your customer feedback so we know what we're doing right and what we're not. And I can tell you I've been an auction customer of Jay's for a long time, and I do buy from him through his auction platform. He really does a great job, and he really takes the time to post quality pictures of the items he sells. And, can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, part of it is the first thing I really want to talk about or say is just my own thought, my own personal preferences. I do not do a buyer's premium. You know, the old saying of keep it simple. So the simpler it is for a person to get on there and push that button to bid, they know exactly what they're spending.
Right.
You don't have to sit and have a calculator beside you, doing time, you know, calculate this, calculate that, and So, but yes, there is a credit card fee which adds on, and I try to keep my basic shipping and postage and handling pretty much what it cost me, plus the materials a little bit. It's just, since I'm a one-person operation, though, the last auction having about 60 packages to mail, it did take me 2 days.
I'm sure.
And so it does take a little bit of time and effort, but if you do it correct, it takes a little time to secure the package.
Right.
And at that point, so, but going back to the layout, I like to, in taking in consignments, collections, estates, whatever comes along, you have to mix it up a little bit. That I try to run where by 5 lots maybe per consigner, so I can keep the inventory correct and everything, and mix it up a little bit because a person at home might need to go to the restroom, might want to go get a snack, the phone rings or a text, so they can take a wee little break as the auction's going along. And that's the beauty of the online auctions, where you're getting thousands of views. People can bid at their convenience.
Right.
And they can have the comfort to go in midnight, 1 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, at their convenience. They can look it over, view the lots, send me a message if they have a question, if they want more photos or a better description, or point out a mistake I make of a mint mark, or just 8 and 9 are too close together when you're typing sometimes.
Right.
And you go ahead and, but they can do it at their convenience, and that's everything. Time is everything for everybody today, and convenience really, really helps. And one person that's given me a lot of confidence is there's a website called Coin Update, and one gentleman on there, Michael from Ames, Iowa, is a professor, but he analyzes a lot of websites, a lot of auction companies, whether it be from white label, the proxy bid, the high bid, or whatever. And he makes comments about auction companies per se, how they might be representing items, or the shipping items going on today with UPS, whether we ship within state, within the country, or going out of country. He talks a lot about toning and descriptions. And then he goes back to your original part, though, the quality of photographs. And we try the best we can in taking photos. The chocolate brown coins are very tough to get much detail to bring up.
Right.
In your large cents or some of the other foreign, whether it be some British coins or some others. And then you go clear to a BU coin, and then sometimes having to deal through the layers of plastic from some of the mint products with the reflections. And there's a lot of variation also going into the paper money. So you just try the best you can, and that's why I say if there's questions, we just try to answer it and see what we can do.
Well, that is very interesting. If I asked you what is the most expensive item that you've auctioned off, what would your answer be?
Back in February, we sold a proof $20 gold piece that was $5,300. I have, it was a proof like, I should say.
Okay,
proof like. Now I have in auction November 4th, I do have a 79 graded PCGS 62 GSA Morgan. And I'm sure that'll bump up to
That'll
the highest.
some high dollars.
Yes, that'll go up to the.
That's a cool piece.
And this auction I have in November was a contractor, and he loved Morgan piece dollars. He loved Carson Cities. So we have a very large collection of GSAs and Carson Cities coming up.
And that's the one in November?
In November.
Yep, that's this auction here, November 4th, I assume.
Yes.
Yep, November 4th. So, and if you want to get on the mailing list, you can visit either temchackauction.com, or you can go to 701auctions.com and it'll link you right to it. So is there an option then for customers if they choose to get on your email list?
I can add to their email list.
Okay.
Or I do have a few customers, very regular customers, that are in their upper age that do not do internet.
They prefer a mailed copy.
And we do mail out copies, and also they call and give me their phone bids.
Okay.
And I'm able to just go ahead and register them as a buyer, upload their bids, and let the computer take care of it for them. And
it's truly old school.
Yeah, but and by having, I've done auctions here in Minot after the gun show. I just had the one in Jamestown. That's 100 miles away. Bismarck, I'll be doing an auction in Fargo in November. So we do move around the state. For us, 100 miles isn't very far to go for anything.
Right.
And so I do move around to try to let new customers see how the process works and to have confidence of what we're representing and showing and doing. That is kind of nice. And to get, it's just more feedback. And part of this, you got to enjoy it. And the interactions with customers and the public is quite enjoyable some days.
That can be the best part of the job, and it can be the worst part of the job.
By far.
I just want to point out here, Jay is a member of the round table. Much like myself, Jay actually introduced me to the round table, and what, it took 2 years for you to convince me to join?
Just about, probably, yes.
You've all probably heard me talk in my own videos about a highly vetted, dealer-only group that we pay to be a part of. Well, that's this, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it. Jay was one of the references I used in order to gain entry into the group. But yeah, it took me 4 weeks to get vetted and fully approved. I don't know if they do a full background check or what, but it was quite a process, but it's a great group. And what this badge of honor, as I like to call it, tells you is Jay's a stand-up guy, great to work with, honest, he'll treat you fairly. So when you see this badge of honor, I guess, at coin shows, know that you're working with one of the best in the industry. So, Jay, is there anything else you'd like to add? Oh, I know what I want to ask you. Aside from auctioning, currency, numismatic coins, you deal in precious metal. You sell bullion.
I sell bullion.
How have bullion sales been for you over the last couple of months?
It's been slow, and that's just the usual trend of the summer months, as the stock market saying was, sell in May and go away, and you have a little bit of that follows through the precious metals. And we kind of know the yearly lows if you follow just by the year chart and the trends. End of August, people are so busy with other enjoyable family things going on, it's not on the top of their project list, or so we move along, and now we start heading into where fall leaves are coming and the colors change a little, and people have a little more time at the computer maybe, or start following some charts. And the precious metals, there's a lot of uncertainty going on in the world with the COVID and what we've been through the past few years with the lockdowns, and then travel has picked up again. I've picked up my travel also to see things, why we could, and to get out to shows and meet more dealers in public and such, what's going on. But it's just the uncertainty of our government has really, really been changed a lot of people's minds. The spending, the money going to Ukraine that could be used here, the homelessness problems. We used to travel out to the Long Beach show. We don't go anymore. Used to enjoy going to a Dodgers baseball game and various things, but we don't go because of how that state has changed so dramatically. And your comfort level, since we are dealing in some metals and precious items, that you have to have a comfort level in where you travel, where you go, how you interact at that. But the 90% silver is always popular. Quarters right now to me are an excellent buy. The low premiums that's dropped from where it was. Our silver eagles the premiums have dropped from where they were months ago. And even on 1 ounce rounds, we were over $2. Now we're under $1 in the wholesale market. I speak, not as you have done your videos with. And so people have a better understanding. And the other part is the more we talk, and with your videos have been excellent. If our public, our consumers, customers are educated and well versed, everybody wins. Everybody's happy. And so that's the best part of this, and communication is education and working together.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I always tell people, the more people that are educated and own precious metals in our part of the world, if we do get into that situation where the world starts crumbling around us, we're all going to be better off that we have each other, not only to console, but to barter. If we all have metals, I mean, if our dollar truly does collapse, and believe me, nobody wants that to happen, but it is that underlying possibility that we all think about. So.
Yes.
Well, Jay, is there anything further you want to say?
Well, thank you for the YouTube video now that you've worked at it and growing. And as you've done your interviews with Silver Seeker, I was at the St. Charles show back the end of July in Missouri with the Missouri Numismatic Society, and I got to meet and visit with him a little bit, and we talked, and some of the other people you've done videos with, Dave Peter, and I've done some business now with Dave, and it's a growing community in interacting and people you can just work with.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I haven't met either of them in person. I don't travel much, for those of you who don't know, but maybe someday. But I'm at the point in my life where I'm not going to be traveling too much doing those type of things, but maybe that day's coming soon. But I always look forward to it. Jay, it's always a pleasure.
Yes.
Hope you have a great second day here at our coin show in Minot. And I will, as I said in the video, have Jay's contact information, but it's right here as well. So feel free to reach out to him, and you can get on his mailing list for auctions. He's a great guy to work with. Thanks again, Jay. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Josh.
You bet. Take care.